Hello students, hope you are doing well in your studies. Students, we will study energy from fuels. What is a fuel? Students, we know very well that fuel is something that provides energy when we burn it. When fuel burn and we can say after combustion of fuel, we can get energy, right? So fuel is any substance we use to provide energy and we convert the chemical energy in the fuel into another form of energy. We burn most fuels to obtain their energy in the form of heat. The fossil fuels. Students, we know that fossils are buried plants and animals, right? And the fossil fuels are coal, right? Coal is obtained from dead plants, dead plants buried millions of years ago. And petroleum. Petroleum is obtained from animals, sea animals, right? Sea animals. Right? Fossils of sea animals that buried millions of years ago, and after sedimentation of these sea animals, we get petroleum, crude oil. Right? So these are the main fuels used under the world. These are the main fuels used around the world. We burn them to release heat. Look this picture. We burn fossil fuels in power station to heat water to make steam. A jet of steam drives the turbine that generate electricity. We burn them in factories to heat furnaces and in homes for cooking and heating. Kerosene from petroleum is also used in lamps, right? Look here, petrol and diesel from petroleum are burned in engines to give the hot gas that moves the piston. These then make the wheel turn. The world uses up enormous quantities of the fossil fuels, for example, nearly 12 million tons of petroleum every day. So what is the characteristic of good fuel? Characteristic of good fuel, right? So characteristic of good fuel, it should be, it should provide high amount of energy. Number one, high amount of energy, high amount of, or we can say enormous amount of energy. Okay. It should be low in cost. Second, it does not cause pollution. Hmm? If it causes a lot of pollution, we may be better off without it. It should be available easily, right? So it is easy and safe to store and transport. These are the points written here. How much heat does it give out? We want as much heat as possible per ton of fuel. Does it cause pollution? If it causes a lot of pollution, we may be better off without it. Is it easily available? We need a steady and reliable supply. Is it easy and safe to store and transport? Most fuels catch the fire quite easily, so safety is always an issue. Cost is all cost is also a concern. So the cheaper the better. The fossil fuels give out a lot of heat, but they cause pollution, with coal the worst culprit. The pollutants includes carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is linked to global warming and other gases that cause acid rain. So what about the availability of fossil fuels? We are using up the fossil fuels fast. Some experts say we could run out of petroleum and gas within 50 years. But there is probably enough coal to last several hundred years. Look here, this energy level diagram. Fossil fuels are exothermic as they release energy. Look here, the energy is high on the reactant side, and on the product side, energy is low. So the burning of fuel is an exothermic reaction, right? Reactant's energy is high and the energy of product is low. Product's energy is low, is low. So two fuels growing in importance because of fears about global warming and dwindling supplies of petroleum gas. There is a push to use new fuels like ethanol and hydrogen. Ethanol is an alcohol with the formula C2H5OH, right? C2H5OH. It can be made from any plant material like maize and sugarcane. Maize and maize, and sugarcane. Right. So it is used in car engines on its own or mixed with petrol. Next is hydrogen. This gas burns explosively in oxygen, giving out a lot of energy. So it is used to fuel space rockets. It is also used in fuel cells without burning to give energy in the form of electricity. So this is, we are filling up with a mixture of 85% ethanol, 85% ethanol and only 15% gasoline. Different amounts of heat is given by different fuels, right? Some fuels give out a lot of more heat than others. Compare these, natural gas gives minus 55 kilojoule of energy when we burn it in sufficient amount of oxygen. It gives carbon dioxide and water. Ethanol gives minus 86 kilojoule energy when we burn it. After combustion of ethanol, it also gives carbon dioxide, but the amount of CO2 is less. Hydrogen, when burned, gives water and the high amount of it and lowest amount of energy, that is minus 143 kilojoule, right? Minus 143 kilojoule energy is given by hydrogen. So highest amount of energy is given by natural gas. Nuclear fuels. Nuclear fuels are not burned. Important thing, we don't need to burn. We don't need to burn nuclear fuels to get energy, right? Because they contain unstable atoms called radioisotopes. So they break them easily by themselves. They spontaneously break them, break, break, right? Because they are nuclei, because they have unstable nucleus, because they have unstable nucleus, because of the large nuclear charge, because of high nuclear charge. Right. So get it, they have high nuclear charge, they have an unstable number of proton and neutron. So to get stability, they break down easily, right? So over time, these break down naturally into new atoms, giving out radiation and a lot of energy. But you can also force radioisotopes to break down. Radioisotope in which different number of neutrons are present. Elements, radioactive elements in which different number of neutrons are present. Okay, so we can break down radioisotopes by shooting neutrons at them. When we throw neutron on them, they break down. That is what happens in nuclear power station. The energy given out is used to heat water to make jets of steam to drive the turbines for generating electricity. See, after shooting the neutron on uranium-235, we can get krypton and barium and high amount of energy. When hit by a neutron, a uranium-235 atom breaks down to other atoms, giving out a huge amount of energy. Radioisotope uranium-235 is commonly used in nuclear fuels. When it decays, the new atoms that form are also unstable and break down further. Nuclear fuels has two big advantages. It gives out huge amount of energy. A small particle of nuclear fuel, like the size of pea, can give as much as energy as ton of coal. No carbon dioxide. This is the advantage of nuclear fuel, but it is not all good news because an explosion in a nuclear power station could spread radioactive material over a huge area carried in the wind. And the waste material produced in the nuclear power station is also radioactive and may remain very dangerous for hundreds of years. Finding a place to store it safely is a major problem. And this is the radiation hazard warning sign, right? This is radiation hazard warning sign, right? Look here. Okay, students.